Well, thought I was going to be able to get rid of this one soon, but it just seems like one thing after another on this guy. I just looked up the code on the serial number. It's a 2009, so it's getting up there in age. So I let the silicone dry from yesterday's service. I serviced this yesterday, so I took it for a 20-minute test run, and it only made it 5 minutes before one of the cylinders stopped working. So it was only half power. So I was running it back up here, and I was going to put the spark plug testers on it to see which side it was bad, and shut it off to put the testers on. Tried to start it back up, wouldn't start. So I took them off and tested them, and they were testing low. So after they cooled off, which was about the time I got done testing them, I put them back on, and it started again. So that's clear indication that the ignition coils are bad on this. So I ordered some more, told the guy it's going to be another, few days before we get it, plus more cost. But it looks like a pretty good mower. It just hasn't been maintained, so all this stuff has to be gone through. I don't know how to deal with customers. It's not like this customer's being difficult. I mean, he wants to know what progress we're making, and he's always asking, but he's not being difficult. He agrees to everything. So it started out with, hey, will you service this lawnmower? Okay, sure. And then when I got over there, it wouldn't start. So you just got to go through everything. So I tried to start it, and the gas wasn't coming out of the fuel pump. So that told me there was something clogging the line or something. So the gas tank was clogged, full of bugs, flies. So got all that flushed out. Tried to start it again, and the choke needed adjusting, which kind of made sense because he said it was always really hard to start. It took forever to start. So adjusted the choke. Then the carburetor needed flushed out. So, or cleaned or replaced. So I put some seafoam in it and let it soak overnight. That worked. And I started up after that, after it set overnight, and it ran great. I didn't take it for a test drive. I just started up and let it sit here. And I don't know, ran it 5 minutes or so. Ran fine. So I serviced it. Now, I don't want to take it for a long test drive until the valves have been adjusted and everything. Otherwise, you're just fishing around trying to find what's wrong. You think, oh, well, that's probably the valve. So that 15-minute test run wouldn't have done any good anyways. So got it all serviced, put the valve covers on, let it dry for 24 hours, started up, drove down the hill and back up, made 2 laps. And I don't even think I was done with the first lap, and that one cylinder went out. So, I mean, how do you communicate to this customer that just one thing after another? Like I said, this guy's pretty understanding, but there's going to be people who don't understand. Well, why didn't you figure that out before? But it really is just a step process. You just got to go through the steps. I mean, you can't jump to the ignition coil and think, okay, that's got to be it. I mean, the thing is I know there's going to be people in the comment section, most likely trolls, saying, no, you should have known that in the first place. Yeah, I could have went around and tested everything. But how much labor do you put into it just testing everything? Some things are going to be good, some things are going to be bad. So shouldn't you just get through the process of testing as they start to identify themselves? Seems like it would save on labor cost. So, I guess some people think that this is just a backyard mechanic doing maintenance on his lawnmower, but I'm working for customers. I gotta, and as busy as I've gotten, I gotta keep the process moving. So I need to work on customer service and trying to keep the customer happy. I always think they're unhappy for some reason. But I think as long as I keep communicating, and then when they get their mower back and it's a reasonable cost, I didn't just charge them an outlandish price, that they're going to be happy. Hey, I'm going to interrupt this video real quick and ask you, at the end of this video, you'll see an up next box. It'll be over one of my shoulders, and it's going to take you over to my other channel. And there's a brand new video today of a job that we've just got in recently. I don't remember what it is, but it's a brand new video. that was done within the last 2 weeks. I really appreciate it if you go over there and watch it. I say this almost every day now, but we are so close to getting enough watch hours that we'll be able to get that channel monetized, and it's pretty exciting actually. So I really appreciate it if you just go over and watch it. Thanks. This thing, it's a 54 inch. It's huge. I mean, it's got some rust on it, but in general, I think it's in good shape. Like I said, just maintenance items. And now I'm beginning to wonder if he even ran it last year. I'm starting to scratch my head, because at some point, those ignition coils would have raised their nasty head on him, and he may not have known what it was. He may have just felt the loss of power, which may explain why he thought the transmission was slipping, because it does feel like it's slipping. If you don't know what the difference between slipping is and a loss of power. But when you're down on a cylinder, it feels terrible. Like, am I ever going to get up this hill? So anyway, parts are supposed to be here Friday, but I know UPS doesn't run Friday. I don't know why Amazon and UPS can't seem to communicate better, but they're not going to be here Friday. Now, sometimes UPS will deliver early, so it could be here Thursday. This is Wednesday, but that's only happened a few times. So this saw, yesterday you saw that it was in bad shape. Here's a little video clip of that. Yeah, it's dull. I'm going to take it down here. I've sharpened it up, and it did a pretty good job. Put it on the cedar tree, make it easier, because it is a electric saw. So I did notice it doesn't, I don't know how much power this is supposed to have, or the equivalent of power. What size is this? Is for a regular chainsaw, a gas chainsaw? So, but it didn't seem like it had a ton of power. So not terrible. I don't think I would like it, but it was kicking out some good sawdust. So that's a good sharp chain is what I'm saying. But people keep telling me that I've gotten into this business late. I don't know if they come in more power or not. I don't know if you can get a bigger one, but I would sure hate to have to cut a tree down with that. And then split up in logs, and I don't know, I don't think that would be effective. I know that when that hurricane came through North Carolina, I think it was North Carolina, whatever the Carolina, that the government sent them electric chainsaws. Of course, they're out of electric, so there was no way to charge the batteries. Of course, you get online and everybody's saying, well, you got a generator, charge it on the generator. I don't think people really understand what they're talking about sometimes. So, I don't know. I don't think chainsaws are going to get replaced by these. See, the thing is the people advocating for these electric devices, I don't think understand the folks that live out in the country. I know they want to ban wood stoves and all that, but I just don't think they're ever going to get around to it. Yeah, it seems to me, I understand how city folk live, but they don't seem to understand how we live. Or if they do understand how we live, they don't want us to live this way. They want us to live in the overcrowded, complex life. So they're just always trying to change us. So it would seem to me that this is not going to work for country folk. And I'm sure country folk you know, capitalism is what it is. People buy what they see they need. If you're just going around cutting branches in your trees, yeah, that would be perfect. It's pretty safe, I would think. It seems safe. Safer than a gas engine, I should say. A gas chainsaw. So if you're cutting branches, I think that would work great. But for folks who go out and cut trees for a living, I don't think it would work. I know in the state of, well, I don't know for a fact in the state of Illinois, I kind of understand. But there are government workers, state workers in Illinois. And the reason I know this is because I knew one. My ex-wife's uncle worked for the state as some sort of conservationist. And he said, I don't know how true this is, and it doesn't matter if it's true or not. I've seen videos of him doing the work he claims to be doing. But he said that nobody could cut a tree down unless it was approved by the state. So you would have to call the state and say, yeah, I want to cut this tree down. I don't know if that's all trees or specific tree. I don't know the specifics, but, you know, he liked to talk a lot, so I blocked him out quite a bit. So, but a lot of times, as a state worker, he would have to go down and cut these trees. So these state workers, they're not going to want this thing. I could see Illinois making them use it, but like I said, I don't know if they actually have bigger chainsaws. So, but that one, that was a cedar. And cedar, it's just soft wood, cedar soft wood. And it stopped on it. It got hung up. Well, my little MS-170, that's the smallest one they make, that steel chainsaw. It'd chew that right up. It wouldn't even hesitate on that little cedar tree. So, like I said, that's just for branches. That can't be to cut trees down. I mean, if it can't go through a cedar tree, it ain't gonna do any good for anything else. So, I got the then I have this tire still left to do. He wants to pick up that chainsaw tomorrow, but it's also his tire. So he said, nah, I'm not worried about the tire. I just need the chainsaw. So he's coming by to get the chainsaw tomorrow. And I got this one running. There's a video on this. I'm like 7 videos ahead on my new channel now. Meaning there are 7 videos in queue waiting to be released. I'm only doing 2 a week, so that's great news. So got this one tuned up and serviced, got it washed. I told you about this one. The piston doesn't want to move on that one. Still waiting on a carburetor for this one, and then we'll service that one also and get the carburetor changed out. And we got this one running and washed now. So now I'm just waiting for more customers, to be honest. The guy with the chainsaw, he said it'd be a couple more weeks, but he's got a lawnmower, Cub Cadet, that he wants to bring over and get it running. He says it's been sitting outside. I hate those because it's like this one. This one wasn't sitting outside, but it's like this one. Everything's going to be wrong with it. And so you just go through it. And I might even tell him that once I see it and look at it and tell him, look, this is I'm like 7 videos ahead on my new channel now. Meaning there are 7 videos in queue waiting to be released. I'm only doing 2 a week, so that's great news. So got this one tuned up and serviced, got it washed. I told you about this one. The piston doesn't want to move on that one. Still waiting on a carburetor for this one, and then we'll service that one also and get the carburetor changed out. And we got this one running and washed now. So now I'm just waiting for more customers, to be honest. The guy with the chainsaw, he said it'd be a couple more weeks, but he's got a lawnmower, Cub Cadet, that he wants to bring over and get it running. He says it's been sitting outside. I hate those because it's like this one. This one wasn't sitting outside, but it's like this one. Everything's going to be wrong with it. And so you just go through it. And I might even tell him that once I see it and look at it and tell him, look, this is a neglected machine and it's going to need a lot of work. So about all you can do. I don't know what else to do with these customers. I'm sure all mechanics go through this problem of having to deal with customers that don't understand the service. Now, I do remember one time that I took my engine in, my engine. It was on warranty, had 90,000, it was still on warranty. And I thought the fuel injectors were bad. Because I put one of those testers on it, you know, the computer readers. And it said the fuel injectors were bad. Well, I take it in and they said, no, it was bad spark plugs. And they wanted to charge me $200. But then they ended up rebuilding the entire engine, the upper half, which included the fuel injectors. To get that service engine light off, you know, the check engine light, it came on. Well, even though I understand things, I didn't understand why this was a spark plug issue, and it turned into changing out the entire upper portion of the engine. So hopefully, by communicating, they'll understand that I'm going through steps. This is what I did, this is what I did, this is what I did. And if they have questions, you know, when I drop this off, I'll definitely explain the whole thing to them, that this was a big job, a big task. So if you'll click this up next box, it'll take you to a video on my other channel, and it's going to be a brand new video today. So one that, you know, since we started this back up in March here this week, you know, this last week. So I hope I can inspire you to get through it one piece at a time, so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.